there's something about something looking shiny and pretty and looking like, the way it should, but then feeling a real like emptiness with it. And you don't really understand why there's this emptiness, why there's this void that you can't really fill. But everybody else says, but look at your life. You should be so happy.
Everything is great.
Everything is great.
Yeah.
You're about to be this and about to be that. And we're expecting this of you. And, and what a hard letdown to deal with, This is the thing about expectations. They are born in other people. We don't create them by ourselves.
You start preach early, Tam. Hold on to it. Hold on. Because everybody was looking on and saying, "Yay, Tami, we're so happy for you.
Yeah.
Sign to this label. Your boss will know." Tami was like,
"Yeah,
I don't want any. I don't want any of this." Or
no, it was just. I'm a people pleaser, big time, And I say a lot now that, when I started music, it wasn't even because it was this soul calling or this passion, even though there's lots of interviews saying, with me saying, I'm so passionate about this. It was something I could do and something people saw for me and people saying, you would be a great fit for this, so why not try it? So I was like, sure. And then, it just started to change. It started to shift on me and I started to discover who I was. And then I started to realize, oh, this is not what I want anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not that it was so, out of line with who I was. For a long time, it was totally aligned with who I was. But I don't think we give people enough credit for shifting and changing and transforming. And that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't the first time I was shifting, changing, or transforming. It's just the first time that I guess people were seeing it.
But it's not only the shift and the change and the transformation. It's, again, back to the expectations.
Yeah.
She's leaving music to do
To do what? Yeah.
And what was it that you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a wife and a mom. Shock
Crazy
and horror.
child. What was the sentiment at the time when you decided, I'm not doing this, I'm walking away from the shiny and the glitter, I just want to be...
I just didn't really tell many people at the time, because I knew that it wouldn't come with a lot of support. I was supported by who needed to support me, But I understood that people generally wouldn't get that or wouldn't hear it, and maybe people wouldn't even care. I don't know. But
what did they say, Tami? What was some of the feedback you got?
Just that, I can't tell you verbatim, except that the feeling was just, oh, really? That's what you want to do with your life? Like, that's what's next for you? Like, you're going to give all of this up to do that, and then immediately you get put in the box of failure and, just falling below expectations, and you could have done so much, and what if, and that's just a hard place to be, I mean,
so how did you deal with that?
Thank God there wasn't too much social media at the time.
If it was no, it would be a problem.
Yeah, thank God.
So how did you deal with it? I mean, obviously you would have surrounded yourself with family.
Yes, and you know what? Just moving through, and this is something that I think I've always done, is taken things one day at a time. And you know what else? I've always had this immense trust in God that the next thing would reveal itself. And I've always had this ability to be okay with not being the best or the greatest or whatever you think I should be. I've always had this ability to be like, I'm good just being a degular person. And I could always somehow see some beauty in that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because you're on the other side of it sometimes and you see all of the flashy, but then, I really saw the joy in the regular. When I got married, I was only 26. I can say only 26 now because now I know how young 26 was.
Yes.
But at the time, I was a big woman, and you couldn't tell me nothing,
right? Right. But often hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020. Yeah. And, while Wayne is such a wonderful husband and has been an incredible partner to me, and while I love my children so much and have found so much joy with them, the biggest thing for me was figuring that out on my own. And the biggest thing I could have done for my family, and I still continue to do every day, is figure out Tami's happiness first.
Yeah.
And realizing that that's not selfish and it's not some luxury that I give myself. It's a necessity.
Because you say some days you love it and some days
I hate it.
You hate
some
it.
days I have the hardest time with motherhood and wifehood. Is that a word? I don't know.
We just made it up, girl.
You know, it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, but I just realized, and I could only figure out my journey and what made me happy and completing myself before I could show up for anybody else.
Where did that take you? You told me when we spoke that you realized in all of this process that you kind of have to be broken to be mended.
Yeah.
So you went to a really
I mean, I think all of us we've all experienced brokenness. No, it may not be as broken as your story or your story, but brokenness is brokenness.
Subjective.
And so we can all agree that it's one of the hardest things that you'd ever go through, because it makes you question everything about your life, about who you are, what you are, why you're here. And sometimes it happens in front of everybody, but most times it happens behind closed doors on bathroom floors. And, you know, I've experienced, even within my marriage, within the last 10 years, brokenness that was just unexplainable. And brokenness I thought that I would never see the end of, you know? But I truly now get it. And I think something else I said to you was that we can't grow in comfort. We cannot stretch ourselves. We cannot become better where we are.
Yeah.
We cannot, I was explaining to my goddaughter today, we can't become patient by sitting in perfect scenarios. Like, things have to come to test your patience for you to be patient.
Right.
Which is why I stopped praying for patience.
Right. Which is why now your journey is one of returning rather than becoming.
Yeah.
Because people set our becoming expectations.
Yeah.
Right?
I do believe that. And, you know, I feel like in our 20s, you know, we're really searching for who we are. And I feel like in your 30s, and I'm on the latter part of my 30s, I feel like it's so much of this becoming. We're becoming so many things, and especially in the last 10 years. I mean, you better be becoming something good. You know what I mean? There's no glory in just becoming who you are and being who you are. There's no celebration or fanfare for showing up as you are. And so becoming is not a victorious, glorious thing. It doesn't always look pretty. Becoming is gritty and dirty, and it's
ugly and painful.
It is. So now, though, I feel like I'm in a returning, and I feel like I'm getting back to me and the core of who I am and who I think God means for me to be. And it may not be glamorous, and it may not be everything everybody expected, but it is me. And there's something really beautiful about returning to who you are. And and I wish that was celebrated more, that it was okay for us as women to just return to who we are.
We were talking a while ago about surrendering.
Yeah.
Why I was saying to you, you make it sound so easy, and you said it's not hard.
It's not.
What does surrendering look like?
So I think it was Oprah once said, you know, we often think that surrender is almost a submission, almost a, you know, holding down, when surrender is really an opening up and a letting in, and just being open to the possibility of life and to your purpose and to what that is, and being okay with it not being something grand or great. We hear purpose and we think it must mean, you know, some big thing. When I think, you know, your purpose is just to show up as you are. It doesn't mean you can't stretch for more and reach for more and grow and change. But it's about allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as you are, and willing to grow and change from there. You know, as opposed to pretending to be something and then having to, you know, kind of circle back around to who you are and what you believe. And, you know, like we say, you know, sometimes, man, it takes so long to figure out how to love yourself and how to be there for yourself and show up for yourself. But you know what? These things happen right on time.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have happened before now.
Agreed.
You know, and everything
Agreed.
happens in
Agreed.
that right time and with everything that happens in your life.
So let me ask you to look back at this chick, Lori, if you could put her up, and tell me what you would say to her, to that girl, about the future, about ending up where you are now, about avoiding some of the pitfalls and some of the struggle. Speak to her and to the others who are that girl.
Oh, wow. I would say to her, I know you think you have it all figured out. I know. And I know that you think life looks a certain way. It's okay for you to let life surprise you. It's okay for you to feel how you feel. It's okay for you to be who you are. And it's okay that you don't know who that is. And it's okay that you don't have that figured out. You do not need to know everything right now. But I wouldn't necessarily like take her off track. I'd want her to go through every pitfall,
Really?
every heartbreak, every devastating
You wouldn't
blow.
change
I
anything?
wouldn't. Because it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't grow from ease. You don't grow from comfort.
So it is said that one of the greatest regrets in life is being who others wanted you to be and not yourself. Sometimes we try so hard to be what other people want, but life is too short to be anything but happy. Steve Jobs said it best when he said, our time is limited, so we shouldn't waste it living someone else's life. The journey to self-discovery is often hard and painful, but the fruits of that labor are absolutely priceless. It is that work which will eventually teach you that you alone, as Tami always says, you are enough, and that you have nothing to prove to anybody. It is that journey that teaches that it is what comes to you most naturally that really changes the world. If you've been criticizing yourself for years or listening to criticism from others, how about you try to accept and approve of yourself and see what happens? It's time to fight for your happiness, your fulfillment, knowing full well that others may be scoffing. Don't be mad at the experiences that shaped you. They are a part of your story. And if you spent your life listening to others, stop for a little now and hear what your own voice is saying. What do you want? What do you want to do? What makes you happy? Answering those questions can get you to that version of yourself that takes you to a place of freedom, of self-love and contentment, and of owning who you are. So tonight we are affirming Mrs. Chin Mitchell. If you can read that for me, please. It says,
Beautifully flawed and all, I choose to be unapologetically fearless, authentically and bravely me.
love it. Beautifully flawed and all, I choose to be unapologetically, fearlessly, authentically, and bravely me.